Get mine to the phone, get something. We got someone who's right there.
Share with me.
Everybody got it? Gracie, you got it? Do you have a Bible on your phone?
I don't have my phone.
What happened?
I left my phone in the car.
Okay.
There's a Bible in front of you.
Yeah, there's a Bible in front of you, but I don't know whose it is.
There you go. Way to be proactive. Matthew 24. Everybody got it? Okay. And Jesus went out and he departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left there one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. How many knows in Jerusalem right now there is not one stone on top of another in where the temple used to be? Do you guys know that? In Jerusalem right now, you cannot find the temple because the temple has been destroyed. Let me continue. And as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately and said, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? You see right here, the disciples understand that there's a coupling between the end of the world and Jesus coming. In other words, Jesus coming isn't the end of the world. The end of the world isn't Jesus coming, but they're intertwined. They're intertwined, so you will know what season it is that represents the end of the world and the second coming of Jesus Christ. Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. In other words, the answer to that question is a little tricky. It's so tricky that somebody can come up with a theory or an idea is going to sound really, really good, but they're going to deceive many people because that's not it. So the answer to the question of when the end is and when Jesus is returning is a little tricky. But it's not so tricky that you won't know. Tell somebody, say, you're going to know.
You're going to know.
You're going to know. Okay? Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Anybody heard of wars?
Right.
Or rumor of war get ready to start? See that ye be not troubled. In other words, when you hear about stuff like that, don't you worry. Tell somebody, say, neighbor, don't you worry.
Don't you worry.
Come on, tell somebody. It's okay, Chris.
Neighbor, don't you worry.
Matthew 24:1. Guys. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. In other words, when you hear wars, rumors, wars, and all that kind of stuff, that's got to happen, but don't you worry, because that's not the end.
All right.
For nation shall rise against nation. It's got to happen, but don't be troubled yet. And kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. What that means is there's going to be all kinds of natural phenomena going on all over the world. In places where you've never heard of it before.
Right.
But tell somebody, say, don't you worry.
Don't you worry.
Don't you fret.
Don't you fret.
Because the end
Because
the end
is not quite yet.
is not quite yet.
All these things are the beginning of sorrows. That's not the end, that's the beginning of sorrows. We want it all to be over, but that's not the end. That's the beginning In other words, you think this is bad.
Right.
Just you wait. Shame. Goodness gracious. Now, after all of this, somebody said, wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more.
Then shall they deliver you. Who?
You.
You. Who?
You.
You.
They're not me. Me?
You.
You? They're going to deliver us. Up to be afflicted. What do you mean afflicted? They shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. They're going to kill you. Why? Anybody reading what I'm reading? Why are they going to kill you? Why are they going to persecute you? Why are they going to afflict you?
That you believe or because you're infatuated?
Because you're a believer. Because you trust and walk in the route that Jesus taught. They're going to kill you. Because you believe Jesus is the Son of God. They're going to afflict you. They're going to put you in prison. Just because of your beliefs. They're going to kill who?
Me. You. Us.
But that's not the end yet.
Right.
And then, somebody saying then,
Then.
Then,
shall many be offended. Why are they offended? Why are people going to be offended? Why are people going to have prejudice and treat you differently? Why is there going to be diversity?
Because you're a believer.
Because you're native?
No.
No. Because you're a minority? Because you're a woman?
Because you're
No.
a believer.
Because you are a believer. For that reason alone. Are you with me?
Yep.
Many shall be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. Why are people going to hate you?
Because you're a believer.
It's awfully quiet in here. Anybody besides Chris know the answer to these questions?
Come on now.
because you're a believer.
Because you are a believer. Hey guys. Hey, watch this. They're going to hate one another. What do you mean one another? I mean other believers are going to hate other believers. Dun dun dun. Why would a believer hate another believer?
Because they don't believe the same.
Oh my goodness. There's going to be hate in the church.
That's right.
And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. And because of iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Right.
You with me? But, Jesus said, but. There's hope. It ain't all over. This isn't the end yet. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Now, what does it mean to endure?
Go do it.
To endure, you don't give up.
Don't give up. What'd you say,
I
Chris?
said to go do it.
Go through it. Don't run and hide. Don't get scared.
Stick with it, yeah.
Don't go build a house on an island with a fence around it.
Tempting.
You guys with me?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Don't get scared. They're going to hate you. They're going to persecute you. They're going to afflict you. But you keep it together. You have peace because if you endure, not just make it, not just fight, if you endure, if you press through hard times. Are you listening? It's going to get hard. It's going to get difficult. It's going to get more hard. You're just you existing, breathing, your beliefs. You know, people say, you go your way, I go mine. That's not going to be good enough. People are going to follow you. People are going to chase you. people are going to assume that you're a believer because you're not doing what they're doing. What are they doing? Sin. What are they doing?
Sin.
Sin. If you don't sin like everybody else, they're going to pick on you.
Right.
They're going to afflict you. They're going to beat you down because you're not drinking, you're not smoking what they're smoking. They're going to pass it to you and say, here you go, and you say, no, thank you.
Right.
They're going to get offended. They're going to get angry. The mob is going to come after you because you just said no. Because you stood your ground, because you stood your belief. You said, oh no, I don't believe in this, that, or the other. Well, there's something wrong with you.
Right.
Something so wrong, we need to kill you on the spot. Because you're not a part of us. You're one of them. Are you listening? But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be future perfect. You're not saved yet, but you will be. If you stick to your guns, if you stick to your belief, if you continue the practice of what you've learned, you shall be. Salvation is partially a right now thing, but salvation begins right now. It doesn't end right now. Just because you say, I believe in Jesus and I accept Jesus as my personal Savior and I ask for forgiveness, that doesn't mean that you're saved. You shall be saved. Saved from what? Saved from all of this mess. Saved from all of this negativity. Saved from all of this sin. Saved from all of this. These people that are in sin, you will be saved, but you got to endure. You can't give in. You can't give up.
Right.
You have to survive misery because you're going to be miserable. But you're going to find peace in the middle of that misery because you know that Christ is with you. What did they do to Christ? They crucified him, didn't they? What did he do wrong?
Nothing.
You guys are too quiet for me.
He did nothing.
He didn't do anything. What was he guilty of?
Nothing.
You hungry, Chris? Took a bite out of crying. He didn't do anything. He was innocent. And what did they do to him?
They crucified him.
If they crucified the guy that did no evil anywhere at any time, what do you think they'll do to you?
Same.
Or worse. He didn't deserve it. Guess what? I do. He didn't deserve it. He didn't have it coming, but the wages of sin is death. Has anybody ever sinned in this room?
Amen.
Well, you got me dead to rights. I'm guilty.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm forgiven because God forgave me, but I don't know the world forgave me.
Right.
I don't know that the judge, that my brother, my sister, I don't know that people forgave me. So people are going to be, God's not going to be offended. People are going to be offended at you. What did you do? You guys are too quiet.
Nothing.
You guys want me to preach till 2, right?
No.
Okay, talk back to me.
Nothing.
I'm not going to be that long. He that shall endure until the end. I want you to get that word endure. I want you to work that word endure. I want you to think about. I want you to have that word in your mind every single day of the coming year. That word endure is going to save you from a lot of arguments. It's going to save you from a lot of fights. Your position is not to defend. Your position is to endure. Your job isn't to tell. Your job is to endure. You listening? And this gospel of the kingdom, Jesus said, shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then, after the gospel is preached to everybody in the entire world, unto every nation, and then shall the end come. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to be a believer. It just means they're going to hear the gospel.
Right.
I read about a month ago, there was a guy, there was an island of indigenous people, I want to say off of the coast of the Philippines. These people had never come in contact with anybody in the modern world. They were hunting with bows and arrows. People saw them with satellites, but anytime anybody tried to get close to their island, they would attack. And the people, well, the natives aren't friendly, they would just back off. Well, this one guy said, well, I need to go to preach to these people. And a boat took him as far as the boat says, you can't go near that island because they'll attack you. And the guy says, that's okay. I'm going to go anyway. And he went, and the boat took him so far, and he began to swim. And the natives came out, and they saw him coming, and they took their bows and arrows, and they started shooting at him. And he said, wait, I'm coming in peace, wait. Of course, they don't speak English.
Right.
And he's waving, he says, Jesus loves you, Jesus loves you, Jesus loves you. And they keep shooting at him until he gets hit by a couple of arrows. And then he kind of realizes, oh no, I'm in peril.
Right.
I just got hit by some arrows. These people aren't warming up to me, and I'm still in the water. I'm not on land yet. So if I don't do something, I'm going to die. So he tries to swim back to the boat. They keep shooting him, and they keep shooting him with arrows. I think eventually he floats back to the boat because he dies. So a lot of people were in debate over this guy who called himself an evangelist that was going to people that don't know English, that don't know Christ, they don't know anything because no one had ever introduced Christ to them until that day. And people were saying, well, he was ineffective. He never converted anybody. The moral of that story is he wasn't there, and neither are we here to convert. We're here to share Christ. Just because you share your lunch doesn't mean somebody's going to take half your sandwich. If somebody's hungry and they're not sharing they're not receiving what you have, then they're just going to continue to be hungry. Jesus told us the Great Commission to go into all the world and to share the gospel, share the good news. Now, whether or not somebody receives it or not, that's not up to you. Well, sharing the gospel is our responsibility. So this man died sharing the gospel. Is that good or bad? Good. It's good that he shared the gospel. It's bad that he died. But please understand, both are going to happen. Do you understand? When ye there shall see the abomination, 14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. When ye therefore see the abomination of desolation, spoken by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Give me the book of Ecclesia. Hey Matt, turn the van off please, and turn the van off and bring my keys in.
Okay.
Ecclesiastes chapter number 9. You got it? I want just two verses here. This is the message for today. The passage I just read to you was sort of a foundational background. Jesus was talking about endurance. Endurance is a function of repeated activity. You can't just jump into a 26-mile marathon and think you're going to finish it, because you haven't built up any endurance. What you have to do is you have to run a race that's smaller. And you have to compete not against other people, but compete against yourself. Because what you're doing is you're stretching your capacity to do more. Endurance is a function of repeated activity. What did I say?
Endurance is a function of repeated activity.
You wonder why you go through trouble. It's a function of repeated activity. Because you haven't seen the trouble that's coming. And in order to endure that trouble, you have to get through this trouble. Endurance is a function of repeated activity. You wonder why you're going through challenges in life. Challenges come to make you strong so that you'll be able to endure the next challenge. If you go through enough challenges, if you do enough reps with 50 pounds, after a while, when somebody gives you 80 pounds, it won't be anything difficult for you. Because you've repeatedly curled, you've repeatedly lifted, you've repeatedly exercised voluntarily the smaller weights. So when the heavyweight comes, you are able to lift, you are able to push, you are able to curl, you are able to perform under extreme measures, because that measure you prepared yourself for. You wonder why people can run up and down a basketball court during a basketball game. The reason why they did that, because they practice. Practice what? Practice running for 90 minutes. Practice doing suicide. What are you chasing? Nothing. I'm just practicing running. I'm running this way, then running that way, then I'm running this way, then I'm running that. Why are you doing that? Because I need to build up my tolerance. I need to build up my endurance, so when the game comes, I won't be tired. I won't be out of energy. I won't be dead on my feet. I will be able to
Endure.
endure. Where are you going? I'm not going to the game. I'm going to practice. I'm doing this voluntarily, so I will be ready. We all know the end is coming, don't we? How many of us are ready? Well, if you know that it's coming, isn't it incumbent upon us to practice? Isn't it incumbent upon us to exercise? To increase our level of preparedness, so when the end does come, the beginning of the end, because the end is not yet. But when the end does come, we're not going to be falling to pieces. We're not going to be scared. We're not going to be without peace. We're not going to be nervous. We're going to be ready. Why will you be ready? Because we're supposed to be ready. We're supposed to have practice. That's why God sends things in your life right now. Not for you to be angry. Not for you to lose it. Not for you to be temperamental or argumentative. But for you to be ready. For you to be prepared. And precious, beloved, hear me. The end is not yet. There's a lot more where this came from. You think America is bad right now. You think Canada is bad right now. You think the world is bad right now. It's going to get worse. And the kind of worse, it won't just increase. It's going to get to the place where you haven't seen what's coming. The world doesn't know. The world hasn't experienced. Historically, it has never been what it's about to be. But you got to be ready to endure. You got to be ready to put up with this so you can put up with that. Tell somebody, say, put up with this.
Put up with this.
Come on, put up with this.
Put up with this.
So you can put up with that.
Put up with that.
Ecclesiastes chapter number 9. If I could show you a secret. That will guarantee your success. Would you listen? Would
Absolutely.
you pay attention? No? Of course you would. If I could show you how to beat the world out of its own game, would that be of interest to you? If I could show you how to out poker face the poker face. I'm trying to find somebody's language here.
Okay.
But not faking it, because the the resolve on your face, because the peace on your face isn't because of the hand that you were dealt. It's because of the God that you serve. I know, right? Watch this. Ecclesiastes chapter number 9. Verse number 10. Guess we... Okay. He says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with all thy might. Why would you put all of your energy into one thing? What he's saying is it kind of doesn't matter what you do as long as you build up your endurance. Because you're going to need a focus. You're going to need a focal point. You're going to need something to be able to press. You're going to need something valuable to you for you to pour yourself into so you're not distracted by what's going on around you. Whatever you find, there's a lot of things to do in the kingdom. You don't have to do what I do. I don't have to do what you do, but you got to find something. You got to find something. Maybe you're a singer, sing. Maybe you're a praise. If you're a dancer, if you're a reader, read. Whatever you find, it doesn't really matter. But whatever it is, do it with all your might. If you're a reader, be found someplace reading. It's evening time. What are you reading for? This is what I do. Right, Addison?
Yeah.
I'm a reader. I just love to read. Read! But don't just read at books, read it with all your might. I mean devour them. Why? For there is no work, neither device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave. When you die, all activity will cease.
Amen.
When you die, nothing that you've done can be added to. When you die, it's not the race that's over. It's you. So the biblical, scriptural, practical advice from the man of God this morning is, get it in. Put your work in. I read the story of a man that came to America and started a bakery with 50 cents in his pocket. He got a little bread, or rather a little flour, and he began to sell little biscuits at first because that's all he could afford to make. People bought the biscuits and he took the money and he bought more until he had a bakery. And his children grew up. This is the sad part. They felt like they never saw their father unless his father was working. And he worked from sun up literally until sundown. And even into the night, he prepared for the next day. And they said, Papa, when are you going to rest? He says, I will rest when I'm dead. He grew that into a multi-million-dollar bakery that he left for his children. There's value in putting your time in. There's value in being focused and consistent. And it kind of doesn't matter what you do because people make money off of a lot of things. You'd be surprised, the silliest things. There's things that people sell on the internet. The silliest little things make them millions. Why? Because they're doing it. Not because they're smart. Not because they're educated. Because they're doing something. How about if I put it this way? If you don't put nothing in,
You're not going to get anything out.
you're not going to get anything out. But what happens when I put a little bit in? Don't expect much. Are you listening? What happens when I put everything in, your expectations are going to be realized. Whatsoever your hand finds to do, do it with all thy might, for there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest. In other words, everybody's going to the same place. Everybody's going to the grave. What are you doing in the meantime? Solomon said, verse number 11, I returned and I saw under the sun that the race, what race? The race that we're all running, the race of life. The race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong. Just because you're fast doesn't mean that you're going to win. Just because you're strong doesn't mean that you're going to be the conqueror. Do you remember Napoleon? You know what he's known for? What's Napoleon famous for?
He's a military. Was he a military person?
He was a military strategist. He's one of the greatest military blind, along another one, Genghis Khan. What's he known for?
He's a ruler.
He's a military strategist. These guys were conquered. You know how tall Napoleon was? He was a short little guy.
4'11" or something? 4'10". Not very big.
Genghis Khan, short little guy. Conquered the known world. Short little guy. Just because he was tall doesn't mean he couldn't win. The battle doesn't go to the strong, neither to the swift. Watch this. Neither bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding. Some people, I can even begin to tell you the number of people that are millionaires that have not gone to college. That isn't to say that college is good. What it is your activity and what you find to do. Most people go to college so they can get a good job because they haven't found anything yet that they're putting their all into. I declare to you, if you put your all into something, into near about anything, you're going to get a return that's going to carry you through. But that's not the message. Here's the message. The battle doesn't go to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, but nor yet favor to men of skill. Favor doesn't happen to even people that go to church. Well, Pastor, why would you say that? You teach that favor is the currency of the kingdom. It is. Just because you've got currency in your pocket doesn't mean that you know what to do with it. Just because you got a bank full of money doesn't mean you know how to invest it. And after the right sale, you may not have any money anymore. Y'all loose me and let me go. What you do with currency is you invest it. And if favor is currency, you have to invest currency. You have to invest favor. You can't just receive favor like you just got a check. Because as soon as you get a check, first thing most of us want to do is run out and spend it. Then what you got? Stuff.
Wow. Jesus.
Now that you've washed and rinsed, you got to go repeat. You can't live off the return on your investment because you haven't invested anything. You just spent
That's right.
your reserve. You spent your income. You got nothing to look forward to. You can't look forward to a brand new couch, a brand new chair, a brand new car. Because the moment you bring that home, the moment you drive it off the lot, the moment you get it, it begins to depreciate. Which means it's worth less now, less.